y'all? Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. And once again, as you can see, I'm not at the farm. I'm actually on the site that we're working on remediating. Okay, high winds down here. As you can see, the straw's still in place, and that's a good thing. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to be because, like Michelle said, I did manage to pick the coldest day of the year to come out and do this thing. But as you can see, I got a handful of flags here, okay? These represent fruit trees. These represent nitrogen fixers. And I'm going through right now and I'm placing all of these out here because we have the owner of this property coming out here in a minute. And I wanted to get ahead of it to give a visual representation of what we got right here on the ground, okay? The chief concern is whether or not this river is going to jump the banks once again. And as we walk down here, I'm looking at it because we had a rain the other day, and I'm wondering, okay, shoot, is this thing going to work out? Because up here is really the place where I'd like to work, like right up here above this, because it seldom, if ever, floods. Now, I figured with all this bank washing away that it would be less of a concern, but I still think there's tons of obstructions out here, so I'm not sure, because we didn't have a whole lot of rain the other day, and here we are. So I'm going to put out a series of flags. Now let's walk down here and I'll show you what's up. I'm putting out a series of flags because they don't quite yet know what they want out here on this area. I can write it on paper, and what I've noticed before is that when you put it on paper, the visual representation on that paper doesn't translate to what it means on the ground. Now, from a consultant's point of view, which is the role I'm kind of being right here, right now, the problem is they see it on a sheet of paper, you get out there, you point it in, and depending on whom you're working with, they say, well, oh, I don't like that. Well, it's too late. The trees are in there, and I ain't moving nothing. So it's got to be, I want them to see three-dimensionally exactly what I have in mind here. So in a nutshell, we got one row of trees coming through here. And once again, I want to thank all of you guys for your donations because you're making this possible. And I'm working with Allison over at the Farm Connection to see about getting all the trees and the entire guild that's going to be around these guys. So here it is, we got a fruit tree, okay? So they can walk through three-dimensionally and say, oh man, I either love this or this isn't wonderful. This isn't going to be great. I did ask them whether or not they wanted animals in this system, so they live a lifestyle where they're just not going to be able to manage animals. So they can go out here three-dimensionally when I'm done putting these flags in, and they can say, you know what, I like that, or I hate it. Let's redesign it. It's a whole lot easier to move flags than it is a doggone tree, because once these trees come in, if you change your mind after that, if I'm involved, I'm out, okay? If you don't like where it is, then that's on you. You better move it, because I ain't moving anything. There's nothing a craftsman hates more than redoing anything, even if it's his or her own mistake. So to avoid all that, that's exactly why I employ these flags, and they're going to meet me out here in about 10 minutes from now. So in a nutshell, maybe you can see it down here, I got a line of what's going to be trees down through here. Each one of those trees is going to have a guild, basically like the fingers of your hand. It's going to have all the support species around there that will not only enhance that tree, but the tree also is the perfect symbiosis. So for us, what that means is on each side, you're going to see blueberries. And then on opposite sides, we're going to, remember, there's a shrub layer. There's 7 layers in a forest, really 8. So we're going to have blueberries on opposite side of each tree. Let me just kind of lay that out for you. So blueberry over there, blueberry over here, nitrogen fixing shrub over here. Could be sea buckthorn, it could be any number of things. And then we'll have another shrub over there. In that ring around each tree, each ring is going to have comfrey, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and then a whole variety of other things. It's going to have an inner and an outer ring of daffodils. You know why? Because daffodils are your best friend. Not only are they the first thing to pop in spring, but it's also really, really awesome for keeping away voles, moles, and also deer. They find them repulsive, even though you and I may love them. Plus, they're just a really good, cool pop to see in the beginning of spring. So that's going to be part of our repellent. And of course, each tree, you better believe, is going to be slapped up one side and down the other with Billy's bone sauce. And by the way, we got some more in stock if you need some. So, for any would-be critters that want to come up here and gnaw on these trees, they're going to get dealt with. Or maybe they don't want them on here, but we'll decide all that later. But right now, these flags are my best friend, and they're yours too if you ever do any kind of consulting, or if it could even be at your own place, okay? These flags, you can sit here and look at them, think about it, sleep on it, and decide, okay, man, I really like that, or man, this is really not cool. I really don't want to go with it. But so far, this is what I got. Now, that's one line of trees. I'm going to come out a little bit more, and I'm going to put in another line of trees. Now, it's going to be, we'll get into more of this later, but no two cultivars are going to be next to each other, or they won't even be the next in the rotation. I want to give a shout out to my man Stefan Sipkowiak for teaching me that. So it'll be a nitrogen, let's say a nitrogen fixer, which in this case it could be a whole variety of things. Nitrogen fixer, let's say an apple, then a pear. Then there'll be another nitrogen fixer and another cultivar of apple and another cultivar of pear. Then a nitrogen fixer, and then you get the point. It's going to repeat itself over and over and over, as you can see through these flags down through here. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit differently than we've done on our place, because we got so many chemicals and everything else that have slashed up from this river onto this bank. We're still doing the bioremediation. We're still doing all of that. Can't do it when it's freezing out, because right now down by this river is, I don't know, I think it's about 27, 26 degrees right now. Not that big a deal for us, but you know, it's a big deal definitely to these folks that are living out here in tents and campers and all the other things that, you know, aren't all that well insulated. But point being is, in each one of these cases, what I'm going to do, if they're okay with it, is with each productive tree that we have, or at least each fruit tree that we have, we're going to put a nitrogen fixer in the same exact hole, because fertility is all but lost out here. So we're going to pull every single trick out of the woodwork, and we're going to get this thing hopping and popping, y'all. But let me tell you the number one reason why I feel compelled to do all this. A lot of people are asking, well, why would you do this in addition to all the other things you got on here? You say you don't have enough time, and look, if you want something done, you give it to a busy person. Look, I'm going to lay it bare right now, and I'm going to tell you the number one reason why I'm doing this. For the glory of God. That's why. Man screwed all this up. Whether you want to believe or whether you don't want to believe it was engineered, I guess that's your business. But at the end of the day, this is where we are. And the Bible says, let your light so shine before men that they see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Well, all these man-made chemicals that are on here, I'm going to show you how the good Lord can heal it based on what He put on this planet. And that's my motive for doing this. So for all those that ask. Anyway, I'm going to get out here and lay out these flags. I'm going to wait for the owner to show up here in a minute. And if anybody wants to donate to the Living Soil Foundation, that's what's paying for all of this. You people, all of you wonderful, fantastic people are paying for all of this. If you feel compelled to donate, if the Lord puts it on your heart to do so, that's where you can do it. And you can find us on Give, Send, Go. Working on a website right now. It's not quite ready, but we're getting there. So, till next time, this is Billy out here at this site, which obviously something blew over here. I'll have to get that cleaned up. But I want to thank you all for your support, and I want to thank you most importantly for your prayers. And please, please pray for all these people that are still living in tents and living in things that aren't very well insulated, if you know what I mean. All right, y'all, thank you so much for your support. We'll see you next time.